Absolutely. We're so excited to be here today. This is our first episode, lots of hype on it, and our first band that has decided to join us is the Truth Council. They come out of Pekin, Illinois. Thanks so much for being here today, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, so the plan is we had them pick out 3 songs for us. We're going to have them perform them live and loud, but first we kind of want to talk about them. First song that we're going to be talking about is called The Eyes of Jane. Which album is this on, guys?
13 Degrees.
13 Degrees, which is the first album, and I love the story that the reason the album is called that was because of how wonderful our weather was. The winter that you formed and got this album together, is that correct?
That is correct. I think I remember sitting in my living room and not being, it might have been a Friday night or a Thursday, and then seeing on social media all my friends' bands getting canceled because it was going to snow and it was getting into single digits that night or the next day, and I thought I should just sit at home and see if I can write a song. And that was like after I'd written Never the End. I wanted to see if, and it turned out pretty good. We recorded it as a single, and then I wanted to see if I could do it again. So I just started working through stuff, and that song came pretty quick. Yeah, it came pretty quick.
Like for Eyes of Jane, I know you talked about Never the End, the bass lines were kind of the first things to lay down on that song. For Eyes of Jane, what was your structure in building it up?
Once I wanted to create, with everything that I do, when I'm writing something musical, I wanted to make it interesting to play, not necessarily difficult, but just interesting. And I'm a big fan of big choruses. I like big choruses, and I cannot lie.
Your brothers can't deny it.
Yeah, that's right. So I like almost everything that I write is going to have some aspect of that.
This song, out of the 3 that you guys are doing today, had my favorite moment of I like the windows down and the music loud and the weather's perfect and you're listening to that one song that just makes you want to sing along. The breakdown chorus on The Eyes of Jane is the perfect moment for that. I love it. It's so beautiful the way everything goes together there. Question, who's Jane? Tell me a little bit more about the story behind the lyrics.
Jane is the daughter that I don't have. Okay. And I think I just wanted to, I was imagining if I had a daughter that I would want her to be, especially nowadays, I want her to be strong and assertive and not afraid to take things on. So it was kind of my imaginary daughter.
I love that. My favorite line is the second verse. And it's so beautiful. And I'm reading it because I don't want to misquote it. But as the hands of the hours pass, you will see friends become strangers. Don't reach out to the sky for help. You can be that savior. And I just feel like it's a neat message of turning to helping each other. Turning to each other for that?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's a fly, sorry.
Oh! I thought you had an idea all of a sudden and I got excited. That's okay, flies are good too.
In recording it, our good friend Tommy Edwards sang the background vocals on that.
Yeah. What else? Tell me more things.
I will say that is the song. I wasn't in the band when it was written. But since I have been in the band, that is the one song that I've heard your exact comment said to me probably at every single Truth Council show in the last 2 years that I've done.
Which comment?
About the roll the windows down.
Yeah.
It's a song you put in and it sticks in your head. It's that chorus. You wake up the next morning after hearing us play and it's like, it's in my. I've had people message me, hey, I saw you play last night. Great set, but Eyes of Jane will not leave my mind. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I'll let the guys know because I wasn't in the band when it was written, unfortunately, but I do love performing that. It's one of my favorites.
So that chorus stick with you for it's big chorus.
All right, and coming at you next, live and loud, is the Truth Council with The Eyes of Jane. So, John, when you wrote the letter on the plane, did the lyrics come with it? Tell me kind of how that came along. And Mitch, I want to hear about your role in this one too, because it was the first one that you did with the Truth Council, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My very first song.
On the plane, I think that's really all I wrote was the lyrics.
Okay.
I'm not a great flyer. I don't like it. I know my oldest son lives in Seattle, so I go once a year to see him. To me, that's a 4-hour flight that's 3 hours and 58 minutes too long. So I try to put headphones on and try to, I listen to music or something, or listen to a podcast or something. And at some point, the words just started coming, so then I had to turn my notes on my phone and start typing lyrics. And I think I already had some of the music already written, like chunks of it, pieces. So then when I got back from Seattle, I think it came together pretty quick.
Yeah. Tell me when you came in, Mitch, how that all went.
So it was, while he was still working on the letter, he had called me to see if I was still available to join the band. John had called me 6, 8, 9 months prior to when they were still working. I think they had just started recording the 13 Degrees EP, and I can't remember if it was just to go record one song, or if it was to join the band and do I don't remember the whole thing. I just had a neck surgery. Like, I think he called me like 2 days after my neck surgery, and I was like I couldn't even talk. Like, I said, I'm at least 4 weeks out of being able to even move off of this piece of furniture, and who knows how long before I could sing again. I didn't know yet that there had been damage to my vocal cords from getting my neck fixed. But going forward, he called me. I was ready. I had been going through some vocal therapy. I'm like, hey, yeah, let's do it. I'm not doing the cover band thing anymore. I'm kind of on a break. This is a great time for me to join the band. So the letter was brought to me, and then, of course, it was kind of, for me, it's kind of, I guess, what's the term? I want to say like a double-edged sword for me, because I knew what it was about, and I could associate with it, having 3 girls of my own, 2 of them being old enough to have gone through a similar situation. I could associate with that, but at the same time, I'm all giddy about it, because I'm like, this is my first song. I'm in an original band. It's my first song. I'm being a part of the recording process. Kind of finalizing the writing in the studio or in the practice room, that kind of thing, and putting it all together. So it was kind of like an up and down situation. I'm excited, but I'm like, man, I associate a lot with this song because I get John's feelings on that, when it was written. So it was pretty cool, and I don't know, it was exciting and not at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, so it still holds a special place for me because it is my first recording with an original band, that type of thing. It was I've never done the original thing before, so yeah, it's still one of my favorites to listen to perform live. And if somebody asks, I know the story. I can tell them. So, and I've told the story, and a lot of people also can relate to it. So I think it's one of those songs that even more so the people that we know that can associate with that song is one that they tend to lean towards listening to or put on their playlist more than some of the others, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading something this morning, and it was talking about that great moment of going to see a band when it's other people who have listened to this song and it's touched them in the same way, and that there's a message being shared, and it all touched you when you were going through that same part, that there's so many of us that deal with the same thing and struggle with that. So I think your guys' music just has great messages, and it's important stuff that needs to be talked to, specifically the letter. Thank you for sharing that. the end. This song has such an epic beginning. I just like starting it. It comes in with a heavy bass line, yes.
Right.
Okay, and then the other favorite I heard on, I want to talk about Jason's Little Legends, that the bass line was the thing that got sent to you on this song, and it was one of the first ones that you worked on with the band, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so where did the bass line come from? Because there's a lot of really intricate different ones. I know you've mentioned before that as you played, you just held on to a few that you liked, and that as you've been writing, you were able to put them together into different projects. Was this kind of the love child of that?
I think so. I think it was something that I just goofing and came up with, and it just stuck with me and wouldn't go away. There's that part, and then actually the instrumental part in that is something I wrote like 30 years ago, and it was I was teaching bass at Florey's Music in Pekin, and I came up, it was from something for students, like an exercise, to make sure they used all 4 of their fingers on a scale, and it just kind of stuck with me, and I thought it sounded cool, so it stuck in my head, and I thought I'm going to plop this in somewhere. I think Brock turned it into a 7/8 piece. We took a note out and made it a little interesting to play, and I was pleasantly surprised. It came out well. Eric Nelson at Eclipse Studios does all our recording, and he really made it come to life. So,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard it, we recorded it. This was the first song John sent me when we put this together. He sent me a text, hey, I want to do an original thing with Brock, are you interested? Yeah, and I didn't know how to take it. He just sends me a bass line. No click, no drums, nothing, literally a bass line. And my first thought, I had no idea what the hell to do with this. And we got together and we worked out the song, and it was decent. And then we got at Eclipse, and I heard the final track. I remember driving home and was thinking, like, this is something really cool.
Who did the vocal lines on it? When you
I did.
That's so awesome. You were a man of many talents, John.
thank you.
That's fantastic. Okay, so one of the questions that I had, I am primarily a vocalist, so I like to talk to the other instrumentalists and things that they would want to know about this song. And this song has a lot of different effects and cool sounds that you're bringing out to kind of get this different feel on it. I know we talked about some Dream Theater influences. I want to talk about the keys too. Tell me like some of your favorite effects or pedals that we're going to. Do we have any on this song? Is there anything happening?
I actually don't use any effects on this
I was
song.
going to say my
dry.
pretty dry, right?
Yeah.
Recording, Eric Nelson has one of those Sans Amp
Yeah.
DI boxes, and that's all I used that, and I used the bass I used is not here, but it's a $80 bass that I got on eBay. Brock and I painted it. I had Josh Thompson hot rod it with I'm not sure what kind, I don't even know what kind of preamp is in it, and it sounds fantastic. It's my $80 bass and it sounds fantastic on that song. So
It growls.
it's really
Yeah.
less is more on that song.
I like it.
I didn't have any pedals.
None?
Just 2.
Just the two? Okay. So what tuning are you using?
C Mixolydian.
Okay. Hey, sounds legit. So tell me a little bit about the story and the lyrics behind this song. What's the message behind it?
I would have dreams, and not like those dreams, but for some reason she's blonde. A reoccurring dream
Okay.
with this blonde girl, and in the dream she's always lost. She's always lost, and she's always out of focus. I can never see who she is. She's always kind of a ghost, and it's a reoccurring dream that I've had for probably decades. So it seemed like it was never going to end. So and I've written this, and I wrote the song and kind of put it in there, and every once in a while I'll still have that dream.
catch you guys next time on Live and Loud with Lindsay. Till next time, my friends.
Peace.